Hi friends, it's Ayumi and it's time for the November craft store haul video. Yay! My name is Ayumi. I am a crafter, an artist, and all sorts of other things. But the main thing to know is that I always go to my local craft store once a month to spend at least 1,000 yen in order to keep business going, because all my other local craft stores went out of business and I don't want that to happen to this one. This is actually going to be a very short video, and you might be thinking that it's kind of soon, like November just started, but it's actually really simple. So I am in the middle of doing crafts for gifting. I want to try to get as many gifts out of the way in November so that I'm not rushing in December, and also just because I have to send everything overseas. There was just one more thing I needed for one of the projects. Um, I thought, now I had something that was okay and usable at home, but I wanted a better product if possible. And it was something that was really difficult to search for online, especially using Japanese keywords. So one of the problems with multilingual stuff in crafting is that in Japanese, we have a word for cotton, which is wata. For example, wataame is cotton candy. However, we also have the word cotton that comes from cotton, so literal loanword. So you see both used interchangeably. So if I'm checking the fiber label for yarn, I'm usually going to see wata instead of cotton. But sometimes wata is also used to refer to, for example, what we would call like a filler thing, like polyfill. Right now, polyfill, I'm pretty sure gets that name because it's typically polyester. However, wata is used to refer to something that basically acts like cotton, as in stuffing for plushies, etc. That's very frustrating when you're trying to find literal cotton. So I went to the craft store to look for that stuff, and they didn't have what I was looking for, and it might not exist here. I'm genuinely not sure because it's so hard to find, and yeah, so they couldn't help me, and that was kind of disappointing. But the stuff I have already is fine, so I saved the money, so it's fine. But I was there anyway, so I looked around, and again, especially after last month, my birthday month, I didn't need a whole lot of stuff. But I still looked around and, just kind of fiddled with whatever's there and thinking about stuff that I don't really have. So I got two things exactly. So we got hit that 1,000 yen mark. So first thing I got was a strap, like a bag strap. So as you can see, I bought 1.5 meters of this very lovely and sparkly. You can't, oh my goodness, the video is not capturing, but it is actually sparkly and glittery and stuff. Um, but yes, this glittery strap, very lovely. I actually got it with the intention to possibly use it for the bag that I'm making for December. I showed you that a nautical, or not nautical, that aquatic fabric that I bought during my birthday month. So this, I actually checked because I went to the same store. I just could walk over to that bolt and see how it compared to the fabric. And there were two light blues. The other one was a little bit too green, but this one was good enough. So this one I might use with that is the idea. So that's a backup just because I was a little worried, and I'm always worried about making straps out of fabric. I don't think I do it very well, especially because I hand sew. I'm still not super confident in my skills there, but that's that. So that was I think about 400 something. Um, and then I got something that as soon as I got home, I immediately started using because this is a very useful tool for patchwork. So there's 3 in here, but there's actually one more. It's a 4-piece set. So this is used to trace your pattern pieces. Now, obviously you would want to trace out the actual shape of what you're sewing, especially if you're a hand sewer like myself. But this is very useful for making those lines when you cut your fabric. So basically, usually have a piece of plastic that is the shape of the thing, and you just put that in there, and you just kind of press against it as you make the markings on your fabric so that it's easier to cut. There are other methods, of course. I often see the method online of putting these little magnets on your scissors to create that seam allowance cut. And that's awesome. I need a line. I need to cut on a line. I get super nervous if I do not have a frame of reference, just because I've made so many mistakes in the past. And fabric is expensive. So yeah, this was a super cute little thing. So they have different sets. So the smallest one is 3 millimeters, which I think is very small. I don't know what's going on there. But the one I used today was the 5 millimeters, right? So that's pretty useful. But they also have a 7 and a 10. So just depends on what kind of seam allowance you need. I'm sure I'm going to be using these a lot, a lot. Um, but yes, so very small. Not it's almost something you can't quite call a haul exactly. That's just the popular verbiage. But yeah, super excited. I love this. Fun fact, I've noticed that when they're talking about which one to use it for, they do actually specify Hawaiian quilting. And I do want to make a video about that for the English speaking world because Hawaiian quilting is a massive thing in Japan, and it's all because of one influencer who is a mixed Japanese. So I'm a big fan of hers, and I support her a lot, even though I might not necessarily do much Hawaiian quilting myself. We'll see. But yes, so maybe in the future I'll make a video like that. I have no idea what I'm going to buy in December. We'll figure it out when we get there. But yeah, that is my haul for November. I have a long time to go before December. I'm very hopeful that I will get all my crafting done for my family in this month, and then we'll see what happens next. But yeah. Thanks again for watching, and as always, the best way to support me is to commission me for art. The second best way is to like, comment, share, and follow. So, do what you like. Alrighty, bye-bye!